Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of 8 News Real Talk. I'm your host, Tannock, Blair, and with me, as always, my co-host, Julia Broberg.
Hello.
Thank you for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, WRIC.com, or WRIC Plus, the smart TV app to watch us on. We got a couple of movies here. One came out last week. The other one actually came out 2 weeks ago, but because we were on hiatus, Julia was on vacation.
Woo woo.
We didn't get to go over it, but we figured we might just do it now. Do it this week. And we were also going to do The Roses, but I ran out of time to watch it. But Julia caught it if you wanted to let us know what you think. Should I go see it still?
Yes. I
Okay.
never run out of time to watch movies. Even when I'm on vacation, I take my work very seriously. I'm happy to be back, first of all. It was good. I watched the original, so it's originally, is it a book? Scratch that. Danny DeVito made a movie called The War of the Roses with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, which is very good. I would watch that before you watch the new one if you can, because it's very interesting to see the differences. This new one, Jay Roach, is?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. And it's just a fun little modern take on the original. I just thought it was fun. It has good writing. Their performances are both really good. And they just know how to do good things with the material that they're given.
Nice.
And they're both, my worry was that they weren't going to be crazy enough. Because I think what we've lost in the current era of actors is crazy stars. Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner are insane.
Yeah.
And so they can play that insanity really well.
Right.
I don't think we have that level of crazy actors in this era. At least in our generation of actors. Maybe. I don't know. The time will tell. But
Maybe
I think
Austin Butler can get there.
I think so. Actually, yes, I do think Austin Butler has that in him. But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman just did good, and it was funny, and it was just a good little watch. So
right.
I recommend it.
All right, The Roses, check it out. The first movie for us to properly review in earnest, Caught Stealing, the new film from Darren Aronofsky. It is an adaptation of a book from the early 2000s from
Maybe that's what I was
Charlie
thinking of.
Houston.
So maybe War of the Roses isn't a book.
Okay.
Nobody listened to anything that I say.
Well, Charlie Houston, I think there's actually multiple books in the series. I think this is a series that follows Austin Butler's character, Hank Thompson. So there's two sequel possibilities if this does really well. Who knows? But yeah, the author also wrote the screenplay for this film. It's a slightly different kind of film from Aronofsky, who usually likes to hover in dark, weird, prestige drama films. This is a bit more fun compared to what he's usually doing.
Still dark though.
Still dark. It still has the Aronofsky
Still
edge for sure.
Grimy, grungy.
Yeah, what did you think of Caught Stealing?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun time, which again, I always expect to go into Darren Aronofsky and just feel bad about the world and myself afterwards and humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
But this was kind of, and I still felt that way a little bit after this, but on the whole, it was just like a fun little crime thing where you're watching Austin Butler get into all sorts of little crime shenanigans with some fun characters surrounding him. That being said, I hate to say it every week, I'm sitting between a 3 and a 4. I should just have a little card that goes up sitting between a little 3 and a 4. I don't know. It's always like when I come out of the movie, I'm like, this was great. Give it a 4. And then the more I sit with it, I'm like, but was it really anything special that I haven't seen before?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. So I would maybe go 3 on Caught Stealing. Still fun. Good performances. Griffin Dunn, my boy.
Yeah, he's back.
Love Griffin Dunn, and he did so good. Okay, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I think that was, I don't know if it was intentional, but it definitely feels intentional, like stunt casting for, his performance in After Hours being very similar to a similar kind of movie, New York movie to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same boat as you are, honestly, between the 3 and the 4. I think I'm just going to stick with the 4, though, because I really do think that this is just a really solid, well-made, well-written, well-acted movie, and I had a great time watching it. So,
Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's get into spoilers to break it down here.
Tannock, what's Caught Stealing about? Could you tell me what it's about?
Yeah, it's about a character named Henry Hank Thompson.
All movies are about characters. Tannock. Tell me what it's actually about. No, I'm kidding.
He is he is a former baseball prodigy who sort of basically ruined his life or ruined his career prospects in a drunk driving accident of which he was behind the wheel. And he's originally from the West Coast, but he's living in New York. He's a bartender, sort of in a bit of a shabby, rundown apartment block. The film takes place is a period piece, actually. It takes place in 1998. And he is asked by his neighbor, punk rocker, played by Matt Smith, to look after his cat while he's away. He's got to go to London for his dad's funeral or something. And while he is cat sitting, some very shady, criminal, enterprising people come trying to break into Matt Smith's apartment and looking for something. And Austin Butler gets caught in the middle of this cat and mouse chasing where everyone's looking for the money. And he's trying to figure out what is the money.
Yeah.
what is even happening.
He's like, what's going on?
So a good chunk of the movie is him catching up on what is even going on. And then once he figures that out, it's how he's going to play both sides and somehow get out of it alive. Yeah.
I did think it was fun to watch the evolution of his character through. I mean, you see how he has a lot of insecurity and trauma surrounding this accident that he got into, but then you see him kind of gain his confidence throughout as he has to face all of these like absolute monsters that are just destroying his life. And you see him start to realize, maybe I do want to fight for this life. Maybe I don't just want to sit and drink and be a loser. Which, why would you do that if you have Zoe Kravitz as your potential like romantic partner and he's drinking High Lifes for breakfast? Yeah. Get up, girl, get up. What are we doing?
Only a guy that looks like Austin Butler could pull that off. I fear.
You're so right.
Because he is like definitively a loser in this movie. He's an alcoholic. He's pretty washed up. He's going nowhere in life.
You can get away with it because he looks like Austin.
He's a friendly enough guy, you know. He gets along with the people at the bar, and he's nice to the homeless person on his corner and things. But, it's when you look like Austin Butler, I guess things are still. There's always a chance for redemption. There's a chance for redemption anyway, but
but especially when you look like Austin Butler.
She has a higher tolerance policy than I think most people would, and she's trying to sort of encourage him to take the next step in their relationship, and in order to do that, he has to
clean
get
up
his life
act.
together.
Yeah. Just because like she's a paramedic, like you can tell she doesn't need his mess.
Yeah.
But again,
but she's a fixer.
Yeah,
she fixes things.
True. Well, until she, spoiler alert, dies.
Yes, that is one of
the
biggest turns in the movie that I did not see coming.
I also did not see that coming.
Because of the playful tone that this is sort of rocking, you sort of imagine that, she's going to be there to put them back together and be the support crew, sort of, that hopefully won't get too involved. Maybe a final act damsel in distress moment, but she's going to end up okay. But no, she gets unceremoniously murdered,
executed
at the end of Act 1. That's where we're talking about that Aronofsky edge, I think, in addition to just the general production design of this very grimy 90s New York City.
And I love him for it, because he's like, oh yeah, you love this beautiful, smart, funny girl that's going to put him back together and they're going to live happily ever after. Wrong. She got shot in the temple. She got shot in the skull. And I was like, you meanie.
Their chemistry is so good that you're really invested in that relationship. And it, like, you feel it the same way that his character feels it, where the bottom out just comes out from under him. And he's truly rudderless at that point, and the whole movie... Yeah, it has a lot more intensity to it as he's trying to put things back together and get his life on track.
I had an inkling that something was going to go wrong with her, because you see that you have that little moment where she always, whenever he leaves, he says, can I call you? And she said, you got my number or whatever. And they didn't do that the last time before then she got murdered. Like their last interaction, she didn't do her little, you got my number. So I had a little inkling. I was like, oh, but I thought it was going to be what you said, damsel in distress moment where the Hasidic,
they kidnap her or something.
Where Liev and Vincent D'Onofrio like grabbed her or something. But oh my God. When he pulls the lighter out, I was like, because I was on the side of the Jewish men. Of course, I always am. I was so on the side of the Jewish men.
I really like how this plays with the expectation. It does this a couple of times, honestly, because there's also a cop who's helping him in the beginning, and he's trusting her. And even though he's being told not to go to the police, you know, he makes what he thinks is the right decisions at certain points to go to her. And then about the midpoint, it's revealed that she's a corrupt cop. And it does a great job. Again, this is a script that with little details like fleshes out her motivation for why she's a corrupt cop. When she gives that monologue about the black and white cookie.
At that moment when she was eating the black and white cookie, I thought she was gonna get shot in the head.
Right.
I thought one of them were gonna come up and like get her, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. I think for how maybe straightforward or genre this plot is, you know, it's probably something we've seen before. A lot of people point to like Guy Ritchie or something. It's like it's another Guy Ritchie movie. You know what to expect, or so to speak. It does throw in just enough twists and curveballs and stuff to where you don't exactly know where it's going or how it's going to end.
Yeah.
And because of the added violence and the fact that there are a lot of, you know, friendly characters that get unceremoniously killed, including Griffin Dunn and Action Bronson.
Yeah. Because he's there too.
He was really good in this movie, and his little bit part as well.
I thought Bad Bunny was good. I thought all the little side characters did a good job.
Yeah.
I obviously think Liev and Vincent are very fun together.
Yeah.
I really liked, I'm sure it's a different how you say it, but in the little Russian subtitles, it's Microbe. The guy that
that's
just
his
is
name.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him because he was just, his whole character is he's this scary goon that's gonna, you know, beat you up and almost kill you for information. But then he's just spouting like American colloquialism. Like he's just like saying a bunch of American phrases while he's looking so terrifying. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed that.
He's a great heavy because he's such a shorter guy. He's one of those like, you know, little dog who barks loud sort of thing.
Short, stout gentleman.
Yeah, but and he's the guy who really like messes up Austin Butler's character in the beginning. But he keeps doing that move where he headbutts things.
Yeah.
That's like his favorite attack, like his go-to move.
I connected with him spiritually, I think. Like him, just like he'd be like, "Take me out to the ball game," and then he'd like destroy Austin Butler's kidney, and I'd be like, "This is great."
You buy the physicality, even though he's a small guy. Like in the performance, I'm like, oh yeah, he would beat Austin Butler up.
Yes. And when he goes full animal, when his partner gets killed, when they shoot his partner, I think there's that turning point where he just becomes full animal. He starts like chasing after the car and like biting it and like just latched onto it. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah. I think that's what brings us from like a 3 to a 4 to me. It's just all the little attention to details and the characters and the production design.
Yeah.
I think Aronofsky's got a great like visual palette, like the sweeping camera moves and things. He's always been like an excellent visual filmmaker, but it's fun to see it in a more playful sense than like a sort of verbose sort of maudlin version of that.
See, this is what happens. I always say 3, and then we start talking about it, and I remember how fun it is, and then I'm like, wait, I changed my mind. It's a 4, guys. I was just kidding.
I don't think you're alone, though. I was looking at, you know, I was trying to get a feel for what like the pulse is on this movie, and I think a lot of people were like, it's good, but forgettable or whatever, and I was like, actually, I think there's like a little bit more.
Actually, I think it's quite memorable.
Yeah,
guys,
I think this is one that I'll go back to and enjoy, you know, and remember quite fondly, honestly.
Yeah. My only qualms were that it just kind of gets annoying to me plot-wise, where it's all going back and forth, and it's like, no, I want to get the key from her. No, I have the key. No, I want you to kill her. Then you can get the key to get the money, and then...
Yeah, maybe slightly too much repetition in that regard, maybe?
Maybe, and I don't know. as much as I enjoyed Matt Smith's character, I just thought he kind of got annoying a little bit.
Okay. I really liked it. I liked when he gets in like a crash and everything, when he's clearly got like a serious concussion.
Yes.
And Austin Butler's character keeps making him drive because he doesn't drive after the, as we established in his backstory, he's never he's gone back to drinking. Drinking, no problem. He'll do that continuously and like doing more so, in fact.
Yeah.
But he refuses to drive after the accident. So
it's like, I won't step foot back in a car as he's drinking like beer and booze. Every shelf in his house has booze on it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sure.
I really, I just like it's a simple central character arc, but I just really like it. I buy it when, and at the end of the first act or whatever, and Zoe Kravitz sort of gives him that ultimatum because he's just had surgery where he definitely cannot be drinking alcohol. And he seems really serious about it. He gets rid of all the bottles and things, and then he because he's afraid, he goes to the bar and immediately folds because he doesn't actually have that inner strength in him at that point in the movie to not drink.
Zoe Kravitz's girlfriend or toasting the Giants. You have to take a shot for the Giants. You have to. That's a requirement.
I love all the Giant stuff. I love him calling his mom, and even after the most serious of phone calls, going, "Go Giants."
I do too. Go Giants. That's how I knew she was gonna die, because they always said "Go Giants."
Yeah, and you're following through throughout the story. Like, it's almost like its own B plot is how the Giants are performing, and then if they're gonna make it to the World Series.
I love his mom's heard all this stuff on the news. He's like, "You gotta go to Jackie's," and then he's like, "You can watch the game at Jackie's house, Mom." And I'm like, "This is great. This is actually fantastic."
Yeah.
A+.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good fun.
Good fun. I'm again sitting between a 3 and a 4. I think I'm sticking with my 3 though.
Yeah.
I get to be a little, I don't know, but it was fun. Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
Cool. That's Caught Stealing. I think we both recommend it. Go check it out.
Yes.
We will be right back. All right, and we are back to discuss our second movie, the movie that came out a couple weeks ago, Honey Don't, starring Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza, directed by Ethan Coen of the Coen brothers, and written by Trisha Cook, who I'm not as familiar with, but
she did a good job.
Yeah, my partner seemed familiar with her, so yeah.
Lovely.
Someone will know who's watching. Yeah, Honey Don't. This is similarly a crime sort of a crime film having like a similar sort of vibe, or like a fun crime caper movie that also goes dark, like little black comedy moments and things.
Yeah.
But it's also very, very different, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But what did you think of Honey Don't?
I had a really fun time watching this. I was one of the enjoyers of Drive Away Dolls.
Me as well.
I've seen a lot of like comparisons between them. I think just because it's Ethan Coen. Again, I have a lot of bias going into this because I love the Coen brothers. I would say they're probably like my favorite directors in a lot of ways. And so there's a bias there. I just like the performers that are in this. So I just had really fun. I know there are some issues, and I understand people's criticisms of it, but I had a great time. And so I'm going to commit fully to a 4-star.
Nice.
And there might be some times where I seem like I'm going to go back on it, but I'm not. So I'm all in. Yeah. It's going to seem like I'm wavering. Yeah. I'm not. I'm strong.
Good.
I'm sturdy.
Good. Yeah.
4 stars. What did you think about this movie,
I really, really loved Drive Away Dolls as well. I did not like Honey Don't quite as much. It was a little bit messier. And Drive Away Dolls was already messy, but it all kind of worked. I don't know. We'll have to get into spoilers to break down like specifically where the difference is, because these are very similar movies.
Yes.
Both star Margaret Qualley playing a lesbian character caught up in crime, a crime plot
with a silly voice,
and driving a retro vintage car. So
all things that I love. Yeah. All things that I
agree.
Love.
Myself as well. Let's get into it. Honey Don't. What is it about, Julia?
No, I don't want to. It's Margaret Qualley plays this private investigator, Honey O'Donoghue, I think is her name, her full name. See, this is where it's going to be tough because the plot is kind of all over the place. See, this was a trap.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to trap you.
Didn't mean to M. Night Shyamalan trap you.
Yeah.
There's a car crash that happens. That's what starts the movie. But it's being investigated by police. It seems like it might be more than a traffic fatality. You learn about this church, which is headed by Chris Evans, that's into some questionable dealings. They just mentioned the French. I love that they literally just mentioned the French, which I love because I always love a little, heat towards the French because I'm not a fan. I'll say that here. And so you're just trying to figure out how all of these little pieces connect.
Right.
Honey's family also comes into play. Her niece is having some issues. And she's also, so she's just trying to figure out, because this woman that died in this car crash had reached out to Honey about something that she had never, before her death.
Yeah.
And so she's just trying to figure out how all the pieces come into place. And at one point, her niece goes missing. And so it's all about her just trying to figure out what is happening in this town. What is this little dark cloud kind of lingering over this town? And I'll admit, it doesn't all come together. But that's not the point. Should movies have a nice little tidy ending where everything's tied up in a little bow? No.
Yeah, there's also a love story plot with Aubrey Plaza's character.
Yes.
There's a side plot where we follow one of the henchmen for Chris Evans's character, who's like, he's being double crossed, and there's also Margaret Qualley's.
Don't confuse the lesbians now.
Her past with her father that like gets brought up as well.
Yeah, some religious trauma there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Fundamentally, I think what they're going for is the kind of confusing plot lines that you'd find in like a Dashiell Hammett novel. It feels like one of those early Bogart movies where like the central mystery doesn't make any sense. You're not really supposed to follow along. It's more supposed to be a vibe.
Yeah.
Something that did this really well in recent years, I think, was like Inherent Vice.
Oh,
that
true.
also makes no sense, but like it kind of works for that movie.
Yeah.
Where we're all from the perspective of Joaquin Phoenix's character.
Also because he's drugged out of his mind.
Yeah.
So you're just like,
it's
obviously.
sort of, it's baked into the plot.
Baked. Ba-da-ba.
I think my biggest criticisms for Honey Don't. Wait, did I even say my rating? I didn't.
No, you didn't.
2 stars. I'm going 2 stars. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's my biggest criticism for Honey Don't is just the messiness of it, and also if you're gonna do the neo-noir thing, or you're gonna sort of do a send-up of that Bogart quick speaking kind of style. Like Honey has a lot of one-liners and like quick comebacks and things. That's sort of like her style of speaking, like the classic private investigators from cinematic history. But Margaret Qualley doesn't feel super confident delivering them, I think. She always looks uncomfortable, doesn't quite pull it off, I think. And maybe it's because her accent is coming in and out as she does it. Like, it feels like the accent comes in when she's delivering a Bogart-style line and then goes back to speaking more or less normally when she has to do some sort of other scene. But having said all of that, I absolutely grant you that there are moments in this that are really fun. I don't think it's quite as funny as Driveway Dolls, but I think, Chris Evans' character in particular is really, really funny. There are some wild things in this that feel like you can do that in a movie, which is exciting and fresh. Like that's a quintessential Coen Brothers, aspect, and that's still true here with this film. I just don't think it all comes together in the right way.
Can you guys see the annoyance and just washing across my face? I'm kidding. All of your criticisms are very valid, and I completely understand them. Here's why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Here's why your opinion, which is subjective, is wrong.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Am I missing something? Like, Did you find it funnier than Drive Away Dolls, or as funny? Like,
I did. I found
Okay.
it funnier than Drive Away Dolls. I think Drive Away Dolls just had a lot of cheap humor to me. And so I think that was more my issue with that in terms of this being funnier.
Yeah.
I think Margot Qualley was doing a fantastic job of her delivery and how she was doing that. I think her discomfort comes from having to interact with all of these men in this movie that are just the worst and creepy and are unrelenting in trying to be with her.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she's uncomfortable in delivering.
Just reminded me of the sort of repartee that she has with Charlie Day's character.
Yes.
I didn't find them, and when I say I didn't find them to have chemistry. And when I say that, I don't mean that like they needed to like get along or something, but like
you're like, I really wanted to see Margaret and Charlie Day's character get together. I just really saw a future for them.
I mean, just in the fact that like if you're going to do a repartee like Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant sort of back and forth, I don't know, there has to, the timing was off with them or something. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but for whatever reason, that just didn't work for me. And I feel like that was a crucial part to the humor working in this movie, maybe.
Maybe your issue is that you're trying to make it into something it's not. You're ascribing these roles from these old movies, like these dynamics.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not what it is. Maybe that's not what it's trying to be. And you want it to be a Bogart and you want it to be a Katharine Hepburn thing, but that's not what it is. This is different.
That's a fair point. I don't think I want it to be that. I think it was calling in to reference those things, like using that as a bit of a blueprint to do its own thing. But all that did as a side effect was just reminding me how those things are better than it is. You know, I think it's more so that because Drive Away Dolls was very different. You know, it had the same sort of energy that this film had, and it totally worked for me. I feel like, but I think maybe there's just too many elements or too many characters. Like I said, that could be an intentional thing. That could be a reference to those sorts of hard-boiled crime movies and books from the 40s and things. But like the introduction of her dad is a little sloppy. He comes in for one scene and they resolve, not resolve their, come together and forgive each other or anything, but there's a resolution there. It's clearly trying to tie all of these different characters and all of these different stories up in like some sort of umbrella of maybe like abuse. Like her niece is abused by her boyfriend, who's a bit of a dirtbag. Her sister is a single mother that
of 13 children.
Yeah, of which you could intuit that maybe there was, if not abuse, some sort of like there's a reason that there's not a man in the picture there. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that, the cycle of abuse from this church that is also a criminal organization and things. So I think it's going for something there. I just don't think that it all amounts to anything. If that is the case, I don't know.
Heard and received. That didn't matter to me.
Yeah. I think ultimately all of that would be forgiven if I found it funnier. And for whatever reason, a lot of it came off as awkward or, yeah. It was like cringe, but not in a funny cringe like I usually like.
No millennial jokes. He didn't like that there were no cringy millennial jokes in this. Now I understand. He wanted a dirt moment.
Yeah.
I get it. It's hard to watch a movie without a couple dirt moments for the millennials.
It's true. I'm a sucker for it. I don't know what to say. There we go. Honey, don't, though. Recommend from Julia. Maybe
I like that you're like, recommend. Julia says to recommend. I wouldn't see this movie.
Maybe check it out on streaming or something from my camp. It's an interesting film nonetheless. I'm still not counting Ethan Coen out like a lot of other people seem to be, because he pulled off Drive Away Dolls in my mind, and I think he's still got the sauce.
He absolutely sauce the sauce, in my personal opinion.
All right. That does it. Caught Stealing and Honey Don't. check him out, and maybe check out The Roses as well.
From my camp, I
yeah.
say check them out.
That does it for this week's episode of Real Talk. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.